Hey Sassy Nari, welcome to Little Fixes. This is your host Mac3, a social media professional, a mother, and a simple yet sassy woman just like you. Join me for 3 simple and practical ideas that help you in transforming into your best self. This mental health and personal growth podcast is a reminder that you matter. Hello Sassy Nari, thank you for joining me today. सो डू यू बिलीव कि वी मेक आवर ओन डेस्टिनी, या आप मानती हैं कि सब कुछ पहले से ही लिखा है सो यू कांट चेंज योर डेस्टिनी? और मे बी आप इन दोनों थॉट प्रोसेसेस के बीच में कहीं हैं. आपका बिलीव जो भी हो, ये एपिसोड आपके लिए है, क्योंकि मेरे साथ हैं उर्वी श्रीमांकर, हु इज़ अ टैरो रीडर, अ ह्यूमन डिज़ाइन कोच एंड अ पर्सनल ब्रांडिंग एक्सपर्ट. उर्वी हमें टैरो के बारे में तो बताएंगी ही, बट मोर इम्पॉर्टेंटली वील डिस्कस द आइडियाज ऑफ एवरीथिंग बीइंग प्रीडिस्टाइन्ड and also making our own destiny. We'll talk about intuition and how to use our readings for our best. और ज़्यादा क्लैरिटी के लिए उर्वी ने मेरी अर्ली थीम्स की रीडिंग की है, जो हम इस एपिसोड में डिस्कस करेंगे, जिससे आप समझ पाएं कि टैरो कैसे वर्क करता है. Before hearing from Urvi, please follow Little Fixes on your podcast app and rate and review us on Spotify and Apple Podcast. It helps a lot. And now to our guest. Hi Urvi, welcome to Little Fixes.
Hi, Maitri. Thank you so much for having me here. It's been a pleasure and I'm really excited to do this.
So am I, because ये जो एस्ट्रोलॉजी वाला टॉपिक है या ये टैरो है, इस तरीके की चीज़ मैंने कभी भी पॉडकास्ट पे डिस्कस नहीं करी है, और मैंने अपने पर्सनल बिलीव्स भी इस बारे में यहाँ पे नहीं डिस्कस किए, तो आई एम ऑल्सो वेरी एक्साइटेड अबाउट इट. सो उर्वी, विल स्टार्ट विद द बेसिक्स एंड वीड लाइक टू नो फ्रॉम यू कि टैरो होता क्या है. मैं जब बहुत छोटी थी तो आई रिमेंबर न्यूज़पेपर में देयर वाज अ टैरो रीडर, उनकी रीडिंग्स आती थी. तब मुझे समझ में नहीं आता था कि क्या बताती हैं. फिर धीरे धीरे एज आई ग्रू एंड मैंने देखा और अपनी रीडिंग्स भी करवाई, तो मुझे कुछ कुछ समझ में आने लगा, बट ऑब्वियसली एन एक्सपर्ट इज अ पर्सन टू टेल अस.
Okay. So very simply, right? If I were to tell you how tarot works, it is a medium to tell you what's going on in your subconscious mind. So today, tarot cards work with quite literally cards. Some people use crystals. Some people use any other method. Some people also use like tea leaves or coffee bean readings. So lots of methods to do this. But at the end of the day, tarot is a medium to get to understand what your subconscious or your guides are trying to tell you. It's as simply put as that. Very often, sometimes it's also a guiding tool. So we are confused ki, am I doing the right thing or the wrong thing? Is this the right decision? Should I go ahead with this? Somewhere deep down, we also know that this is the right way for me, or I don't want to do this, but we get scared to take that decision. We get scared to take that step forward. And I feel like with that, tarot comes in to guide you in the right way. Very often it also shows you the way of, okay, if you go down path A, this is what can potentially happen, or these are the themes that will happen if you go down path A. If you go down path B, it could be like this. So it gives you a lot of clarity, and somewhere deep down it brings up your subconscious, what your gut feeling, intuition is trying to tell you. And sometimes we don't listen to that, right? So that kind of comes through because of tarot. It comes out in your readings, and it helps you to make a clearer decision. So that is how it works. It's essentially a medium to connect with your intuition, to put it very, very simply.
ओके. जनरली वी आस्क समवन एल्स टू डू आवर रीडिंग्स. जैसे मैंने करवाई है, इसलिए मैं अपने एक्सपीरियंस से बता रही हूँ कि इसमें बर्थ चार्ट नहीं पूछते हैं कि आपका बर्थ का टाइम क्या था, बर्थ चार्ट नहीं ड्रॉ होता है. देन हाउ डू यू कम टू नो? जैसे ऑनलाइन रीडिंग्स होती हैं, मैंने किसी को अपना डेट ऑफ बर्थ भेज दिया, मैं उनके साथ बैठी भी नहीं हूँ, फिजिकली भी नहीं हूँ, बट स्टिल दे कैन टेल मी थिंग्स अबाउट मी, इवन दो वी आर नॉट इवन उस वक्त एनर्जेटिकली कनेक्टेड हो कि साथ साथ बैठे हो, मेरी रीडिंग कर रही हूँ, चाहे ऑनलाइन हो या फिजिकली हो. मान लीजिए मैंने आपको अभी दिया अपना डेट ऑफ बर्थ, मे बी यू आर डूइंग इट एट नाइट व्हेन आई एम अस्लीप. हाउ इट वर्क्स, लाइक हाउ डू यू कम टू नो कि क्या चल रहा है सबकॉन्शियस में?
Okay, so how it works, right? It all works with energies and vibes. So when you give me your name, when you give me your date of birth, how it actually works is I'll take my deck of cards and infuse your energy. So first, I will not start with immediately your question. I'll take the cards. I will, chant your name a bunch of times. I will say that, okay, Maitri Varma, born on XYZ date, is, what is coming up for her? What are her energies like? So for 5 minutes of any session, whether I do this online, offline, WhatsApp, anything, I'm usually just sitting with the cards and waiting for your energy to come in through the cards. If someone is there in person with me, I actually get them to shuffle the cards of their own, with their own hands. So जो उनकी energies होते हैं वो cards में आ जाती है. So in that sense, it becomes I'm infusing your energy, and then I get the answers out, and then I get your energy, your answers, whatever you're looking for. So that's how it works. That's why we use a date of birth, because it becomes extremely specific that this person born on this date, and I need their energies only. So that is what I'm trying. That's how it works. So while we infuse your energy in the cards, another thing is we also, it's important as readers to remove the energy. So after you're done, after I've shared all the answers, whatever you're looking for, I also cleanse the cards. So there's no remaining energy left behind. There's nothing that, negative energy, positive energy, draining energy left behind in the cards. So that's also an important aspect which comes in, to cleanse the cards, to keep your energy, my energy balanced.
ओके, सो इट्स ऑल अबाउट एनर्जीज देन.
Yeah.
तो डू यू थिंक कि अगर कोई पर्सन आपके साथ है एंड दे आर फिजिकली शफलिंग द कार्ड्स, इट्स बेटर दैन गेटिंग इट डन ऑनलाइन?
So on also, I personally feel like that's a very good question. And B, in terms of whether it makes a difference, personally, I'll tell you it has. Whereas there have been people, because their energies have been imbibed in the cards, I could literally feel the cards change in my hand, and I could feel like, okay, there has been a different energy. I could sense it, So yeah, I do feel like personally, if you do the reading, it obviously makes a difference. But I've also felt the same when I've done it online. When I've done it with different people, and okay, say I was doing your reading right now, I would literally like shuffle the cards in front of you with your name constantly going on in my head. And sometimes I even take it right in front of the screen and ask you to say your name 3 4 times while I'm shuffling the cards. So you are also in that sense infusing your energy into the cards, even though it's online, right? So personally, physically, yes, obviously it's better. I also feel like the vibes are different when we do it in person versus online, but unfortunately it is what it is, and sometimes you have to do it online. So yeah, but personally speaking, for me, online has also worked very well, because I started in the pandemic. I started in the middle of the pandemic, so I had no choice to do it but to do it online. So it's worked very, very well. So I would just say that it's not a defining factor to getting a reading.
Okay, okay, got it. And now I'm coming to the question which I think is to comes to a lot of people कि जो भी चीज़ें कोई टैरो रीडर बताता है, क्या एवरीथिंग कम्स ट्रू? जो भी आपने बोला कि आपका ऐसा ऐसा ईयर है, ये चीज़ आपको करनी है, लाइक मान लो किसी ने पूछा कि इस पाथ पे जाना है या उस पाथ पे जाना है, तो आपने बोला कि ये पाथ ऐसा है, वो पाथ ऐसा है, तो आई चोज दैट. तो जो आपने बोला है वही होगा इफ़ आई चोज पाथ ए, या फिर कुछ डिफरेंट हो सकता है, लाइक वो हाउ इट goes
Okay.
on?
So, first of all, I'm really glad you asked me this question, because this is one of the most frequently asked questions that I get, right? That, okay, what if it doesn't come true? Or how much guarantee do you give that whatever you say comes true, right? And I'll just put it out there. Nobody can give you 100% guarantee. Nobody. If I could, I would be a millionaire. I would be God at this point. Okay, so no tarot reader or any of these readers can actually give you 100% guarantee. What our job is to guide you in that direction. What I can do is show you the right path, which personally, not even personally, but what is coming through the cards, what the cards are telling you. That is all I can do. Now, very often, okay, as you said, right, like path A, path B, and which way to move forward. You've listened, you've got both the answers available. You might ask me the same question that, okay, now I have both options in front of me, A and B, which one should I choose? Despite that, also, we will say that, okay, chalo, path A is the right answer. You go ahead with that. That seems to be the more successful one, or the better option for you. But I can tell you everything in the world. It will not change until you put in the work. So until and unless you have put in the effort to get that change done, it's not going to go on. For example, I'll tell you, I get a lot of questions about, okay, I'm seeing two boys at an arranged marriage situation. Who is the right one for me? Now we have pulled out cards for both of them. We have pulled out detailed cards to see what the married life would look like with partner A and partner B. But you, until and unless you go and tell that person that okay, I like you and I want to take this forward, it's not going to come through, right? Unless and until you go talk to them, or even if it's a relationship and you are having a fight, until and unless you tell that person that see, this is my problem and this is how we can fix it, I can give you ways to fix it, I can tell you how to communicate with that person to fix it. But if you don't do any of that, it's not going to come true. And sometimes even after doing it, it might not come through, because other person's energies change, your energies have also changed. Because again, another example, this has happened to one of my clients, where they were very fixated on being with said person, with their partner. And it was a very troubled relationship. It was having a lot of fights, the relationship was not happy, she was not happy in the relationship. And what happened was, while doing all the work we thought we would do, she realized, I don't want to be in this, it's not worth the effort for me, it's not worth to put in this much time. So obviously, had she maybe gone ahead 2 3 months down the line, it would have happened. But she decided at that moment, I don't want to. So as I said earlier, it's a guiding tool. It can nudge you in certain directions, but to make it happen, to reach that final stage, is entirely up to you. I could tell you that, okay, this is the way to get your podcast to say 1,000 more listens or 10,000 people, for example. Until and unless you don't do that, it's not going to happen overnight. So it's not magic, it's like a guiding tool, so to say.
Mm-hmm. ओके एंड ऑल्सो पीपल से कि जो लिखा है वो होता है, तो सब कुछ वही होगा। तो फिर काम ही क्यों करना है? मान लो आपने बोला कि पाथ ए पे जाओगे तो ऐसा हो जाएगा, तो आई वेंट ऑन पाथ ए, और मुझे पता है कि मतलब आपने बोल दिया था कि इस बात पे आपको सक्सेस मिलेगी, एंड यू सेड कि काम करना है, जैसे अभी आपने बोला भी, बट यू सेड कि इस बात पे सक्सेस मिलेगी, तो काम करना ही क्यों है? सक्सेस तो आपने बोल दिया कि पाथे पे मिल जाएगी, तो आई चोज
Very
दैट ऑप्शन।
Okay, very, very fair question. So, the way I view it, right? And I think this is how a lot of maybe people, other readers would maybe agree with me. Uh, I personally feel we co create our destiny. It is written to a certain degree, yes, but we are co creators. So, to create the way you want it to happen, you have to put in the effort. So, as I said, that if even if it's written that okay, you will get success in path A, and you choose to walk on path A, but you still have to do the walking. And that's where we come in as a creator. That is where you come in as a co-creator. Yes, God, universe, angels, whatever you believe in, they're all there to show you the path. They're all there to sort of help you along the way, but they're helping you. You are the hero. In your story, you are the hero. So until and unless the hero takes the step forward, it's not going to move forward. So the way I view it is that we are co-creators. We decide together what happens. A lot of things I personally feel, when we talk about things being pre-written or pre-decided, I personally feel that there are like, okay, a raw manuscript is written for us. We add the details to it, we decide the colors, we decide the way, we decide the smaller aspects of it. I do believe a lot of things are largely predetermined, but how it takes place and the details of it are all where we act as co-creators. So that's my personal take on it. And that's why I say that it's important for you to do the work and take things forward. So that's where I feel we act as co-creators. So it's important for you to put in the effort, it's important for you to see it through. Now, for example, to take this another level further, right? We have decided that, or in your raw manuscript which has come through with you when you were born, it is showing that okay, you have three options to choose. And if you've ever gotten like a birth chart reading, they will tell you that okay, you have like okay, career wise you will do like you will excel in like these 4 or 5 fields, and which one is your interest, what is it that you like, is where you act as a co-creator. So for example, you could do well as maybe a podcaster, YouTuber, or even an accountant, for example. But you like podcasting, you chose the path of podcasting, which is where your path A success will come in, which is where your choice comes in. And that's how we mix and match the pre-written and what currently happens.
ओके, नाउ दैट इज़ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग। और इससे मेरे दिमाग में एक और क्वेश्चन आ रहा है अब, कि फ्री विल बोला जाता है कि फ्री विल होता है। तो मान लीजिए मैंने सोचा कि मेरे पास ये 3 प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं, और आई एम वेरी पैशनेट अबाउट प्रोजेक्ट नंबर सी, बट व्हेन आई वेंट टू टैरो रीडर, उन्होंने बोला कि इस बात में आपको सक्सेस नहीं है, जितना भी तुम्हारा इंटरेस्ट हो सक्सेस नहीं है, बट आई रियली वांट टू डू इट। तो इफ आई रियली वांट टू डू इट, और फ्री विल है, तो फिर विल आई बी एबल टू अचीव सक्सेस इन दैट अगर मैंने वर्क किया, या फिर इट इज प्री डेस्टाइंड टू फेल?
Okay. So the way I view it, right, is what does your gut say? Honestly, at that point, you have conflicting opinions. Today, it's a tarot card reader. Maybe tomorrow, it could be anybody else. It could be a friend, family, whoever telling you that this is not going to work. But you have faith that I want to give it a shot. I cannot guarantee कि ये successful होगा, or I don't know where it's going to go. But in your heart, you feel like this is the right thing for me to do. And at that point, I would say trust your gut. Trust whatever you're feeling at that point and go ahead with it. Try it. I'm not saying that be foolish about it or be reckless about it. No. But it's one life. It is absolutely what makes you happy, right? The better you are at doing what makes you happy, the more your energy anyway changes, and then automatically the success follows. Why? Because you believe in it. So I absolutely feel like at that point, when nobody else is trusting you, or when you're getting conflicting opinions from anybody, be it a tarot reader or a birth chart reader, anybody who's giving you conflicting opinions, have faith in yourself. Trust yourself and feel like, what is my gut saying? And this is when I tell you to do it completely silently, in a room where you will not be disturbed by anyone, in a space where nobody can disturb you at this point. Put your phone also off, like, no external distractions, and go within. Ask yourself a couple of questions that, okay, if I really want to do this, why? Am I willing to put in the effort to do this? Should I be afraid about it? Should I take other people's fears into consideration? If they're valid fears, yes, please consider them. But to what degree do you want to consider them? That is where I would say you go to yourself and have faith in yourself. Yes, absolutely go ahead with free will. And even a tarot reader, they are not living your life. I can tell you anything, but it is your life, so you can choose to obviously act in a completely different direction because your gut says so. And very often what happens is, you don't align with maybe the tarot reader's vision or your other birth chart reader's vision or whatever, right? And they are coming from a different space of experience and their life experiences and their uh, upbringing and all of that. So that is also very important to take into consideration when you go to a reader and get the answer. I'm not saying that you go ahead and take it entirely at truth, but I would say that to maintain it and to take it in a healthy way, go ahead, take it with a pinch of salt. Like, don't go ahead and follow everything blindly. Trust what your gut is saying, because sometimes every reader could be wrong, but your gut could be right, and that's the way forward. And as a reader, my only job is to help you figure out to listen to your gut. That's honestly what I personally believe in doing. That's all.
Thank you so much, Urvi, for being honest about it and putting it out there, because this is the work you do, and still you are saying ki take it with a pinch of salt, listen to your intuition. So I think it's something very important that you have said, and I'm sure that my listeners will benefit from listening to your opinion. Now, I also want to know from you कि कोई ऐसा prediction जो आपने किया हो and it came true, and maybe something which didn't come true. Obviously, with anonymity, if you are okay with sharing something like that, and why do you think it happened? कि ये हो गया true and ये नहीं हुआ.
So I'll tell you the case of two different clients, okay? One where it happened and one where it happened, but it happened a little later and differently.
Hmm.
So I'll give you two different scenarios, okay? So the first one, very, very dear client of mine, and she was looking to get married. And we had been working at this point for over a year together. And, we were just like, okay, you want to get married. And every time we did the reading, it came that she's not ready for it. So I said that no matter how many guys you meet and no matter how many people you see, until you do the inner work, it's not going to happen. And then she said, okay, you know what? I'm giving it a final this thing. Let's do the work, whatever it is that you require. So, the commitment was there from her. And so she was also energetically aligned. She was internally aligned to put in the effort to get there. And we both went ahead with the expectation that, okay, we will just heal ourselves, put out the best vibe energy out there and see what happens. And that's where we started out with. So we went through that entire thing. We put in a lot of effort into doing a lot of release work through meditation, journaling, so letting go of her fears, letting go of her sort of beliefs which were limiting her, right? Like which kept telling her, no, you can't do this, or you're not deserving of marriage, or you can't have a happy, healthy marriage, whatever. So we worked a lot on those beliefs, and trust me, we worked on that for a good 6 months or so. And at the same time, she didn't stop looking at different prospective matches. She kept going on these dates, she kept meeting people, but she could feel that with every date that she went on, with every single person she met, her energy was changing. She knew what she wanted, she knew what she didn't want, she was willing to stand up for what she believed in, and actually talk about it. And then as we got closer to it, we obviously kept doing with, we interspersed it with a lot of meditation, journaling, tarot readings, all of that. And we, at one point, I predicted that in the next 4 months she would get married. And this was like, it was a constantly evolving this thing, like, at some point, like, okay, maybe 6 months here, 5 months here. So the timelines were also changing, and you know what, this is it, I think in this month you're going to get married. And luckily that actually happened, that literally that month, and the dates also that we sort of predicted, it all happened in that kind of time frame, to the point where I also told her that, her husband would not be from the same place as hers, which is why he's not, like, you guys haven't met her. And actually that happened, he wasn't very, very far away from where she lived, so that was also a reason into her marriage not working out at that point with different people. So I would just say that it works both ways. You also have to commit to something that you want, and that is where the reading would also come true. If you put in the effort, like today, if I say that, okay, I want to get 10,000 followers on my tarot page, for example, but if I don't post anything, if I don't put in that effort that, okay, I'm going to work towards it, then 10,000 ka 9,000 bhi hua, I'm fine. I'm not fixated on that. But if I don't put in the effort to get to 10K, I can't expect that magically overnight one day I will wake up to that 10K followers. So it works in both ways. Yeah, the cards might tell me that, okay, maybe by X month, say if I'm sitting in August right now and they'll tell me that, okay, June next year you'll get 10K followers, I can believe that. But I can't be like, okay, on 1st June, I'm going to wake up and have 10,000 followers in my on my account. It's not happening. I have not put in the effort. So that is how it works. So coming to the second part of the question, right, where you said where it didn't work out, um, there have been a lot of situations where it's not worked out. There have been instances where it hasn't. So this is a little weird one where a lot of people are just like, okay, if it's negative, I'm not going to pay attention to it. I'm only going to listen to the good stuff. So the minute something negative comes up, or the minute I say, okay, this is not going to work out, uh, people get a little like, okay, she's lying, I don't want to believe her, or they just say things like that, which is fine, it's your choice to believe it. So one thing, it actually happened where a client of mine was confused between two jobs. One was a very big high paying firm, very popular firm, and the other one was a mid-sized sort of company, and they were looking at that. And I said that, it might sound counterintuitive, but don't go for the big one. Take the smaller one first. And he, they were just like, no, we don't want to do this. And I'm going to go ahead with the big one because I have an offer, and it's very difficult to get an offer in a company like this and stuff like that. So I said, okay, I mean, it is your choice. I said what I had to. They went to that place, and the reading also said that, you might not like it, or you might not you won't enjoy it. It won't be something that it's not a place where you will be treated well, to put it simply. And it was one of those that they were like, oh, it's not possible, such a good company name, such a good pay, it's not possible that I won't be happy. And I said, okay, your choice, and I wish you good luck for all of this. For 1 week, they went to the office every single day, and they were miserable, absolutely miserable. He quit the job, and the week after that, he started at a new job, the older company, which was a smaller one. And he was like, you were right. I should have listened to you, but I'm glad I didn't. And I'm glad I took that experience, because otherwise I would have always had that what if in my head, that, oh, I left such a high paying job, or it was one of the dream companies on my list to work with. And it turned out to be one of the worst experiences of my life. So I'm glad they didn't listen. I'm honestly glad that, they sort of chose to believe whatever they wanted to. And I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm always going to be right. But this is literally how it works, like something that I wanted to share.
ओके मतलब कुछ भी हो सकता है एंड दे गॉट बोथ द एक्सपीरियंसेस एंड गॉट देयर आउटकम्स तो I think, yeah, you take the guidance and make what you make of it. So, Urvi, we have talked about using our readings in our way and take what we like what we like, as in what we feel like, what our gut tells
Yeah.
us to. And what are some other ways to make best use of our readings? कि आपने बोला and I want to do that thing कि हाँ जो उर्वी ने बोला है वही मुझे करना है. So how do I make the best use of it, and how do you help people in making best use of their readings?
Okay. So first, I would say that do not focus on long-term readings. If you ask me that 10 years down the line, what will happen? I can guarantee you, I'm going to be wrong. I'll give you in writing that it's not going to work out. Maybe parts of it will, maybe parts of it won't. But if you tell me that, choose a big long-term timeline, I would say don't do that. At the most, stick to a year and a half max. Don't go beyond that. Okay, so keep it very realistic, because 10 years down the line, you also don't know what kind of a person you will be, or your dreams, your
Mhm.
goals have all changed, right? So don't take that long a time period. Choose smaller time frames. That's number one, that don't go really far into the future. Take it one step at a time. Secondly, I do this for a lot of my clients, where I'm like, okay, ask the cards for actual action steps. So, say for
Mhm.
example, I say that I want to reach 10,000 followers, for example, on my reading on my Instagram page. Okay, and I actually ask the cards, and for a lot of my clients, I'm like, okay, take guidance. And okay, what is the easiest thing to do in this case? What is it the first thing that you could start with? So let the cards also give you action plans, because what happens is the cards are also intuitively aligned with what's going on in your life. So, and very often it has come up that, okay, maybe you don't have the bandwidth for this, or maybe you think about the brain, like brainstorm about the ideas, and get someone else to execute it. That is what your problem is. Your problem is not the idea, your problem is the execution. So ask the cards for guidance in terms of action steps, like very doable action steps. Because a lot of people think that, the action steps which come in will be like, oh, you should put this in your wallet, or you should put this bowl in the side of your house. And
Mhm.
it's not that.
Mhm.
Very real, very actionable steps do come out of this. Very often, I've told this to people, where I'm like, okay, ask your mom for advice. Don't ask the cards. Tell your mom to give you advice, and that has worked, because moms know the kid the best. Mom knows what is happening. So I'm like, ask your mom. They will tell you the right way, and follow that way, whatever your mom is saying. So I would just say that ask for actual guidance which you need. Ask for real time guidance that you require. And another thing I also tell clients to ask for is, what is the one thing that is stopping you, or who is stopping you, right? In a lot of cases, so we do have people who are often energy drainers around us, who, if you notice, sometimes you meet these people and you feel exhausted. If you meet these people, you feel like, I have done nothing all day, just spend time with one person, and I've come home feeling so drained, so exhausted ki I can't. So keep these people in mind, and maybe don't share stuff with them. That is something I genuinely tell a lot of people, that identify your energy givers and your drainers. If there's a drainer and you have a big project coming up, if there's something which requires you to preserve your energy, don't engage with that person. Avoid their calls. It's fine if it's that important to you. So understanding what's stopping you, understanding somewhere what your drawbacks are also, right? That really helps in a reading. And I tell this to my clients, that ask for what is stopping you, ask for energy drainers and to give you signs about that, ask for how to connect with your gut, because a lot of people, a lot of clients are unaware in a way, right, that they don't know where to trust their gut, or sometimes how to get started. So we even help with, like, okay, you don't want to trust your intuition with a big decision, start with the smaller stuff. Start with, what do I feel like eating today, and give into that. See how you feel, good, bad. Your intuition might be like, I really, like, I'm feeling like I want to eat some greasy Chinese. Go for it and see whether you feel happy or not about it. And small ways to trust your gut is that, start with the littlest things, and then eventually you'll form that bond where you'll trust it to make large decisions. If I tell you that make a large decision today, you will also not believe it, and it'll become impractical for you. So the idea is that to merge that spirituality, to merge that magical element into very today's practical ways of living, into today's fast-paced life. If I tell you that don't look at social media, no, I often personally feel that social media gives you hints, because you'll see something else, and I'm just like, okay, you saw another person achieving what you wanted. So maybe there's a way to do it. Follow her journey, see what's coming through. Or there's someone who makes you negative, or there's someone who gives you really bad vibes. Don't follow that person. You will often see different words, numbers, sounds coming up. And I very often feel that in your manifestation journey, in your journey towards growth, these things do matter. So it gives you a path forward, it gives you a sign to go forward. So 100%, it's very, if you ask me, my way of doing it is to merge that magic and make it actionable into your life, to make it more practical in your life. And that's how we do it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So the way I look at it now, after listening to you, I feel energy drainers जिनको हम लोग शायद बुरी नजर बोला जाता था, तो those are that kinds of people. We have been taught कि जो हमारा pet project है या something which we are very excited about, उसको openly share नहीं करना चाहिए.
Yeah.
और लेकिन कई लोग ऐसे हैं जो पहले से अनाउंस कर देते हैं एंड दे ऑल्सो अचीव सक्सेस एट इट. तो डू यू थिंक कि अनाउंस करना या नहीं करना, लाइक सोशल मीडिया पे अगर हम देख लें तो बहुत सारे इन्फ्लुएंसर्स हैं अपनी लाइफ ओपनली शेयर करते हैं, बहुत सारी अच्छी अच्छी चीजें शेयर करते हैं, तो क्या उनको नजर नहीं लगती?
So, of course, I personally do believe in the concept of nazar. I do believe that there is sometimes a possibility of not so good, not so positive energy coming your way. Uh, to announce or to not announce, so honestly, I will tell you one thing, and as you know, I also do human design, right? So a lot of people, their pattern, their wiring, as we say, their internal wiring is such that they have to announce it, because without making these announcements, without making this kind of putting it out there, they're often not able to move forward. So, keeping that in mind, keeping that design of yours in mind, I feel it's okay to announce. All I'm trying to say is identify your energy drainers. So maybe there are people around you. So you could, okay, you have to make an announcement on that. Maybe block some people who you don't want to see. If you have blocked that person, you are not actively engaging with that. Or as you say, like a lot of influencers today face trolls, who are trolls or people like constantly making fun of them, right? And it's rude, it's not something which is fun. The only way to deal with that, honestly, is don't engage. Trolls are also the biggest energy drainers online. But the
Hmm.
more you engage, the more you're bringing your energy down, right? Today, you're announcing a new project, you're at level 100. There could be someone who's at a level 10 or a minus 10, and they are engaging with your post. And the more you give them energy, the more your energy goes down. So that's where you strike a balance, that you do what you have to do, and you can't stop living your life for other people. But take your precautions. So be sure that, okay, I'm not going to engage. Or if you feel like there's a lot of if you feel like there's a lot of negativity coming your way, you could literally be like, I'm going to post it because that's my job, it requires me to do this. But I choose to not listen to people who bring me down. I choose to listen to people who I trust, I have faith in, that they have my best interests at heart, and then go on. So you don't have to listen to everybody who says something about you. And that's where you draw the line, especially in the digital age. You don't have to share, you don't have to tell people, uh, that this is my next step. No, you go ahead, you do your thing, and that's it. And don't engage with the trolls. As simple as that.
ओके. व्हेन वी डिड माय रीडिंग, उर्वी, आपने ये बोला था कि ईयर ऑफ ग्रोथ फॉर मी,
Right.
ईयर ऑफ ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन फॉर मी, एंड आई कुड कनेक्ट विद इट बिकॉज मैंने उसको पर्सनल लाइफ से कनेक्ट किया, अपनी प्रोफेशनल लाइफ से कनेक्ट किया, मेनली पॉडकास्ट से कनेक्ट किया. तो येस, दिस ईयर आई हैव गॉट many more opportunities when it comes to little fixes. Now, when we are talking about evil eye and all, I was like, मैं बोलूँ कि नहीं बोलूँ कि ये year transformation और growth का है, because people will listen एंड इट विल बी लाइक कि इनका ईयर का ग्रोथ है, चलो इस पे नजर लगा देते हैं, सॉरी इनका ग्रोथ का ईयर है, इस पे नजर लगा देते हैं. तो आई वाज आल्सो वेरी ऑफ शेयरिंग दैट.
Okay. So I think it's an entirely personal call, and I think you should do it if you feel confident. If you feel like this is where it's heading to, go ahead and do it. But maybe you could do it in your own boundaries, right? So, say for example, you do want to share a win that you've had on little fixes, for example. Maybe you could do it first with your close friends. Instagram does give us this feature to filter out a lot of people now. So maybe you could do it on that. Maybe you could host a private community where you know the people who genuinely support you are there. So you're sharing, but you're also keeping the energy drainers away. So that could be one way of doing it. If you have a major announcement to share, I think one thing that I honestly tell a lot of clients to do is to do a protection meditation. So you're protecting your energy. You're not allowing other people's negativity to filter through to you. You're not allowing other people to drain you out. anything, you are allowing people to say what they want, but you're not getting impacted by that, because we cannot control what other people say. All we can control is the impact it has on us. And you could do that with meditation, you could do that with journaling, you could do that through affirmations, whatever. But there are a lot of ways to sort of protect your energy in that sense. A lot of people also believe in wearing something, right? Like maybe a crystal or an evil eye or something like that. So if that's what you feel will work for you, go ahead, do that. So that is how I feel you can still go ahead and share your stuff on social media. Try different boundaries, see what's working for you. For honestly, for me, something like a private WhatsApp community has worked wonders, because it's where I know people support me, I know people are receptive to my energy, and they're rooting for me, in a way. They're my people who are actually rooting for me. Do I take their suggestions? Obviously. Do they have sometimes, you could have done this better? 100%, I'm open to listening to that. But it's the way I kind of feel I interact with them, because I energetically feel connected to them. I feel like, okay, they are there for me. And the fact that they're able to tell me something, this is not right, or this is not looking good, is where I feel like, okay, I can make this change. And I know, because they have been very trusted clients. They have been people I've worked with for years on end today. So yeah, 100% do it in a way that feels comfortable to you. So if you're not feeling comfortable sharing on Instagram, maybe you could share on your broadcast channel, maybe through a newsletter. So any way that you want to share, feel and it could also differ project to project. Sometimes you feel like, okay, this is something I really want to share on Instagram, I want to share it to the whole world. Do that, go with what your gut says. Sometimes my gut honestly tells me, like, don't share this right now, let's wait for it, let it fester a little bit, let it grow, and then share it across. So either way that works. So listen to what your gut has to say in that case.
Okay. And also, as you said, कि this will be a year of transformation and growth. So
Yeah.
there were a lot of opportunities that came by my way, but I did not take all of them. कि हाँ ये सही लग रहा है, ये नहीं सही लग रहा है. तो I think there was that role of gut feeling and also maybe some research, right?
Right, right. So, okay, we're taught to think with our brains, right? We're taught to say, like, okay, decision has to be made practically, decision has to be made that, okay, this is the logical way of going about it, or whatever. If you ask me, through my personal experience of working with clients, working on myself, take your decision with your energy. The more you involve your energy, the more you involve your gut into the decision making, the easier the execution becomes, because you'll know what to do. So, as the Dil Dhadakne Do dialogue is there. If you've watched the movie, that Dil se faisla karo tumhe kya karna hai, dimag tarkeeb nikalega. So
Mm-hmm.
it's that way. Your mind is to assess. Your mind is like a computer. It can process information. It can figure out what's right or wrong if your intuition is aligned. Otherwise, you're just taking decisions based on logic and what other people are saying, which might not be right for you. And the mind is important because it tells you about fears. It's important to understand those fears that come into these things as well. So that's very, very important, and that's something you need to um, take into consideration while figuring out what is the right way for you. There will be always 100 different options available to you, 100 different ways of doing things. What feels right to you? It's going to be one way that feels right to you. Choose that way. And something I tell my clients also is that don't be afraid of experimenting while you're choosing that way. Try different things. You will lead to the right path. The trying is very important, and very often we don't try. And again, I tell them, try within means that feels comfortable to you. You don't have to take the first 100 steps today. No, take one, take two, see where you're going, and then go to 100. If you go from 0 to 100 in one day, you will not make it. You will get exhausted, you will get burnt out, you will feel pressurized. So take one step at a time and see how your gut feels after every step.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so gut is everything. Feelings, energies, like when you are making your decision, listen to yourself. I think बहुत सारे लोग अब ऐसा नहीं करते. इनफैक्ट मेरे लिए भी थोड़ा सा मुश्किल होता है कि कनेक्ट कर पाऊँ अपने आप से कि हाँ क्या करना है क्या नहीं करना है. But this is very important advice that you have given us. And Urvi, for sass it up, I want to ask you something. Uh,
Okay.
कि कैन वी डू आवर ओन रीडिंग विदाउट एनी ट्रेनिंग? क्योंकि गूगल पे अगर आप डालो इस कार्ड का ये मतलब है, इस कार्ड का वो मतलब है, तो मैंने कार्ड का एक डेक खरीद लिया और गूगल पे देख लिया कि इसका क्या मतलब है. तो क्या ऐसे करके हम अपनी रीडिंग कर सकते हैं विदाउट एनी ट्रेनिंग, विदाउट गोइंग टू एनी एक्सपर्ट?
So to a certain extent, I do think so. Okay, I do think you can do that. And the one thing I would say is that, see, there are on Google there are 100 different people giving 100 different meanings, or 100 different readings to each card, right? And I would say that choose the ones which align the most with you. And how you could do that is take the card, whatever card comes in your hand that day, and see what is it that you feel. What is it that, okay, today if I have a card, it has a lot of red themes, it has a lot of gold themes, so that usually indicates power, it usually indicates money. But how am I feeling with that? Is it feeling negative, is it feeling positive? And go with that. 100% you'll be able to do that. I don't feel like it's very difficult. I just feel that it's again a very intuition based thing. So what do you feel? Is it a good card or is it a bad card? Is it feeling positive and happy or is it feeling unhappy? So what is coming up for you is where you have to see what comes up, and then you can sort of match it with the information available online. Okay, if you go through 5 websites and 5 cards and 5 different websites are saying that, okay, this has a slightly negative connotation, then take that into consideration, that yeah, okay, this is where maybe I'm feeling afraid about it, or maybe I feel like if I'm working with somebody with money and I feel like it could be a problem, it could be something which is maybe they won't pay up on time, maybe my funds will get stuck. So think about it in those aspects. But yeah, so first, honestly, the way I also started out was when my teacher, the lady who taught me how to read tarot, she gave us basics. Okay, this stands for these things, and then she literally just made us practice our gut feeling. That, okay, what do you feel when you look at these cards together? What sense do you get? Is it happy, sad, anger, destruction, transformation? So what is it that you're feeling? And then go ahead. But I do feel like with Google and with the information available online, harness your gut with it, and 100% you'll be able to read it.
वाह, तो ये तो सैस सेटअप की जगह ऑनेस्ट सेटअप हो गया. थैंक यू सो मच उर्वी फॉर टेलिंग इट लाइक इट इज वन ऑफ योर प्रोफेशंस एंड स्टिल यू आर सेइंग कि हाँ आप कर सकते हो. तो आई एम श्योर कि your honesty will take you to places. So thank you so much for
I'm
doing
glad.
this. Now we'd also like to know more about the work you do. Like जैसे मैंने बताया भी कि you wear many different hats, कि ये भी करते ये भी करते. तो we'd like to understand from you कि what all you do and how can people connect with you.
Okay, bachpan se I wanted to do 10 different things always. It's just who I am. It's just how I'm built, I guess. And growing up, I sort of now have narrowed it down to just 2 parts of it. One is where I do something in the spiritual space because I really enjoy it. I love helping people. And my face after like a really good tarot session, you cannot take that out of it. Like, I love doing it. I love reading cards. I love doing different readings for different human design readings, or even a journaling or meditation session. I love doing it. So that is something it's just something, as you say, like, it comes under, say, intuitively, what comes. So I feel like that is very, it's what keeps me sane, to be very honest. And the other bit that I do is I run a personal branding agency. So that's where I help you build your brand on LinkedIn especially. So my specialization is in LinkedIn, and I basically help founders, CEOs, CXOs, etc., to create their personal brand on LinkedIn. So that's essentially what I do, and I personally love it. I wouldn't have chosen just one thing, and I have made the mistake of listening to my mind, because, like, oh, this is the right firm, this is the biggest firm you should work at, and stuff like that. Absolute disaster. So I'm just glad that after a lot of trial and error, I found my footing. I found what I love doing in both ways, and I'm very happy right now. Very content and very happy in the space I'm in. And yeah, so to reach out to me, you could either find me on Instagram, where I'm under Tarot by Urvi Shrimanker, and on LinkedIn you can find me under Urvi Shrimanker. So that's essentially where you can reach out to me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Urvi, for being on Little Fixes and sharing your insights, your experiences with us with so much honesty. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Maitri. It was an honor doing this, and honestly, I've had so much fun just chatting with you, and kind of learning about the questions that you have. And I'm so glad you've asked these questions, because they were really, really fun questions, and I got to share a lot of stuff, a lot of my own thoughts. So yeah, I'm really excited for doing this, and thank you so much for having me.
अगर आपको ये एपिसोड वैल्यूएबल लगा तो प्लीज हेल्प लिटिल फिक्सेस रीच मोर पीपल बाय शेयरिंग इट विद समवन यू केयर अबाउट. यू कैन ऑल्सो गिव अस अ शाउट आउट ऑन इंस्टाग्राम. मेरा हैंडल है @littlefixespodcast. दिस हेल्प्स मी इन ग्रोइंग द पॉडकास्ट, और बहुत सारे और लोगों की हेल्प भी होती है इसको सुन के. आई एम ग्रेटफुल फॉर योर टाइम. अब मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वेडनेसडे को. तब तक के लिए खुद से प्यार करते रहो और सदा सैसी रहो. Bye.